Okay, so this is the grinder completely disassembled. I even have the top burr out. So first, I'm gonna show you how to put it together. You need to take the burr and just put it on the top. And then there's this little thing here, and you just need to push it until it's like there's two of them. It needs to be between there, or the bowl won't fit into it. And you kind of take this, and if you see, there's a little arrow. That arrow shows where the coarseness will be. So you want that in the front, put it in, and just turn it. And now it's back into place. And then wherever that arrow is will tell us what fineness the grind will be. Here's the container for the grounds. Put that in, and then we can just pour beans in. These are illy medium roast. Okay, so now that it's assembled and we have coffee in it, I'm just going to show you over here. This is where you can select how many cups. I found that the number 2, if you're going to make a double shot of espresso, is actually pretty close. It's about 16, 17 grams, maybe 18, depending on your coffee. You just select it, push this button, and if you want to stop it early, you just push it again, or you can pull the container out, it'll stop it, but if you do that, it'll make a mess. So what we're going to do is we're going to grind a couple of the finest setting, a couple of the medium for like a drip coffee, and the coarse, so you can see the full range of this machine. So let's start with the espresso. All the grinding that we did, with the exception of what's in the middle, is the illy pre-ground for espresso machines. So you can see the difference between our machine and a professional. Now this is the first one we did, the finest grind for espresso. It's very powdery. It appears to be pretty consistent on its grind, fairly. Here's the second one we did. This is for a medium roast. I'm very happy with the consistency of this grind. This is, I did it kind of a little finer. You can do it coarser or finer depending on, your personal preference. You should experiment with your coffee machine. Next one, this is the most coarse setting on the machine. Now, for the French press, you want it very coarse, and I will say that this is a little bit finer than I would want for French press. I would want, it works fine, but it'll be more extracted than you want, and it'll start to get cloudy. And that brings me to the next pile. This is the same grind, the coarse grind, but I sifted it, getting rid of the grains in there that were powdery and weren't coarse. I noticed with this machine, and it seems like a lot of lower end burr grinders, the more coarse you go, the less consistent. So if you're going to make a French press with this, which is just grind from the machine, it'll be more cloudy. So what I did was you sift off the fine grinds that are mixed in, and it'll give you a more clear extraction when using a French press. Now, this is the illy pre-ground, and it's very similar to the one we made, but it's just slightly finer. And I will say that this I can put through my machine with my normal portafilter, and it'll give me a 25-second pull, while this one pulls much faster. So you're looking at maybe 10 seconds, but the flavor seems to be the same, very similar. I'm not finding the faster pull on this. You just have to shut off the machine quicker before it starts to turn too blonde. So in closing, I will say this is a decent starter burr grinder. It is definitely better than not having a grinder at all. There's a big difference in flavor when you freshly grind your beans versus buying the pre-ground. with the exception of the pre-ground espresso, at least that illy, for me, it just, because it's sealed in the can, it seems to be really good. But this is a good starter machine. If you're doing mostly drip coffee, it's a great grinder, like no problems whatsoever. You find more problems when you do the espresso or the French press. The French press, I really wish it ground more coarse. And the espresso, I wish it just went a little bit finer. It will work if you're trying to save money, but it's mostly a starter grinder. It's not really, you see the difference for an extra 50 or an extra $100 more, you'd get a grinder that could do the full spectrum without a problem. You know, it only has 16 selectors on here, and it sounds like a lot, but it's really not. But it is a good starter grinder, and to me, it's not too loud, and it's good for now. So, yeah, check it out. Check different ones out in this price range. This was $80, and you know, enjoy your coffee.